Well, howdy there. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a good Wednesday, or is currently having a good Wednesday. Sorry, I'm munching. I just got off work, so yeah. Anyway, we are back with more Roadwarden. You have to let me know if the fan's too loud too. Doesn't look like the mic's picking it up, but anyway, I think I'm going to just plan on Wednesdays and Thursdays, because I swear, since the last month of Tuesdays, something has happened and I haven't been able to get on. So, plan on Wednesday and Thursday, and if Tuesdays work, I guess I'll be here, but I'm not going to plan on them here. Alright. Alright. Oh! Making the difficult choices here. So last time I had gotten I guess it was a seed shown on the map from the beholder, and then they put a whole bunch of magic and my own blood, sweat, and tears into it to get that. Apparently the thing only produces one fruit every season, every year. And this town right here, Aldersdale, they think it's theirs. They have druids and they, put a bunch of energy into it separately. This is Roadwarden. This is the one I've been playing. So they put a bunch of energy into it separately, apparently every year, and then they get the seed, and it's basically a magical seed, and it helps give enough life energy, so if they have someone that's dying of a sickness, right, they can give them the seed to cure them. Well, they wouldn't help me. Old Pagos had been experiencing a really bad plague, was basically getting wiped out. So I invested time, I got the seed. The elder druid here that doesn't want to involve himself with these druids because he feels like they're becoming too materialistic for druids, helped me go and basically cure them with the seed. So Hallersdale, specifically the mayor, is really pissed off because they're like, you basically took something that was ours and traded it to this town, and now we don't get it. So I have some conversation decisions that I wasn't ready to make last week. But your view of the peninsula is off. You cannot help us all, yet stay on the side. When some of us gain, others lose. You took away our treasure, and now one of us will die because of it. A sick elder, a weak child, a hunter who can't be healed with a spell. Her eyes narrow and keep piercing through your skull. Would you push one of us from a cliff to save another village? How about killing me? How many lives am I worth? Have mercy on me, Dice. I was meant to deliver messages, kill goblins, and escort travelers. I take no pleasure in making these decisions. She straightens up and pushes her mug to the side. You're biting off more than you can chew, and we're paying the price. You're not a leader. You do not understand the price such sacrifices put on one's soul. She raises her chin, and they will break you. Either grow a spine or follow those who did. You may be right. I'm not petty, Dane. She returns to the accent of the city folk. You can still enjoy your stay at our lovely village, she says with a sigh, then puts on her usual smile with a hint of a smirk. We can still use your services. You may be a stranger, but at least you carry dragon bones. The guard pushes you away, and the other people read it as a sign. They get back to their tasks and meals, avoiding your eyes, and the air gets lighter. I guess it just doesn't really matter what you say, it's the same outcome. I look around. Oh boy, and I have to sleep here, don't I? How much are they going to charge me now? Oh, okay. Oh no, I guess they don't charge me anymore. Alright, we're gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna rent the room. Hopefully they don't kill me in my sleep. The shivers wake you up. You open the window and see the dense fog covering Howler's Creek, spreading like milk throughout the entire village. You hear an amused quarrel coming from the main square and spot the dancing lights of torches and lanterns, yet the village remains calm and asleep. The fall will make the fogs even more common. Soon, roads will get too dangerous for a single rider. The fog brings undead. Issue. You spend the night in peace, in a clean bed, with a tightly shut window and a warm blanket. In the morning you find a stool placed by your bed, covered with a pie with hare and cabbage, a bowl of plums and grapes, and a cup of mouflon milk. Once you get dressed and go downstairs, a young boy who's covered in mud and speaks unusually loud and enthusiastically mentions that Haas has already been brushed and watered. You nod, but he runs outside without noticing it. Alright. We need to get out of town. Quite literally. I don't want to be here. Okay. Check my journal. A lot of stuff has happened. Still need to find Asterion. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to go to the cabin. Because Glossia, the leader of the bandits, was looking for someone that left. And I had just found him and directed him to this cabin. I need to go figure out what's going on with him. A loud roar comes from the west, causing the birds to burst into the sky loudly. From here you don't see the battling beasts. I enter the cabin. You hear the voice of the man whom you encountered in the heart of the forest. He's standing right in the corner holding a raised dagger. Right. Looks like we're both alive. He lowers his shoulders and clears his throat nervously. I'd better memorize the sound of your horse. Your horse. He hides the blade. You wanted to talk with me? Right. You helped me find this place, and I want to be even with you. He approaches the entrance and looks outside, maybe making sure that you're not being followed. You're going to look for the camp of bandits, stranger. If not now, then another day. You're merely one of those. His look is absent. Oh boy, he doesn't even know. Wandering in a different place. So listen carefully. Head to the middle of the shortcut to a pile of stones, then turn north. There's no path in sight, but don't worry. You'll find it soon, you will. He pauses. It's not a safe road, but not as scary as people say. You'll need a hook with a rope to get through. And, he hesitates, don't meet with Glossia as a weakling. You're someone who fights wolves merely because. Stay upright. You ask him where his knowledge comes from, but there's anger in his blue eyes. Don't try to make an enemy now, stranger. I'm harmless, but not defenseless. And my past will remain merely that, the past. I'm going to tell you about Glossia. Glossia is looking for you. His breath gets heavier, and after you notice his hand reaching for something behind his back, he drops the dagger and raises his arms. Please. She'll kill me. Tell me your story. There ain't much of one. Wanted to be a free soul. Hunt beasts. Maybe take away a little something for what merchants keep in their lake-deep pockets. But Glossia is obsessed with white marshes, and they're awoken. She told me my day is coming. That it's time to do my share of work. But I won't murder in her name. I won't. With every word, he speaks a bit quicker, and ends his tale with a flinch, as if a bad memory just pinched his ear. Interesting choices here. So we could just have him give me the stuff that he stole from her. I highly doubt that's going to convince her. I'm hoping I can come back to this, but just in case, because I want to ask this question. Can I be sure you won't just look for another band once you cross Hag Hills? I don't know much about the lands in the south, but they can't be as bad as they are here. You consider refuting his statement, but he carries on. I may stay at a few inns and get to Hoblevend before winter with a heavy pouch. I have skills. He sprays you a charming smirk that I could put there to hire. Helping you may turn out to be costly. What can you give me in return? He falls quiet. He glances at his knife, which is made of fine steel, but has a rather simple handle. I'm broke. He pouches his lips. Pouches. Pouts, basically? Okay. But you may need my help one day. I could help you get to a dangerous place, even fight beasts for you. And then, maybe I'll join you on your ride to the city, alright? I'll soon leave for Pelt. You'll find me there, if not here. Just give me the things you stole from her. I'll try to convince her to forget about all this. I don't have it. He looks away. I got all them powder soggy. I tried to then use it to torch some wood, but that was not a good idea. Alright, very well. I'll cover for you for Glacia. Wait for me here or at Pelt until the end of summer. You won't regret this. He gives you a grateful nod. Her gratitude goes only as far as it takes to spare one's life. She thinks she's saving the innocent and punishing the monsters, so in her view, it's us who should be grateful to her. I have some questions about the peninsula. He shrugs. I don't care. I have no reason to amuse you, and I made a pledge to keep things to myself. Wow, okay. Well, maybe I'll go tell Glossy where you are. Okay, let's see what else. Journal. I can't believe I've only found Vashil. I mean, I guess one of them could be in that rock slide still. Where is it? I need to get the village, like the villagers from Creeks down to deal with that tree. But I guess I have to go up to Creeks. I don't know. I actually do not know what I should prioritize now. I have to deal with White Marshes. That's what Glacia wants me to do. And I agree, because, I mean, even if they're under control now, them using undead to do their menial, like, tasks for them is probably not going to end well. I guess we could just go to the town. Well, let's go see if we can actually make it through all of this. Let's go to the peat fields. won't be my debt unless I weaken the bandits and get rid of the undead in the village. Okay. I need to meet with Orientius. And I need to be sure you won't make me regret helping you. Okay. So you just won't help me. I need you to open the path to White Marshes. Then you know what I need you to do. He smiles and reaches for his basket. Man, I thought he wanted me to go in there and talk to them. So lame. He's got the grappling hook too. Alright, let's... see if we can forage here. Falcon rests on the broken signpost, but soars into the sky before you get closer. For a few minutes it flies above you, maybe waiting for you to leave. There are quite a few ripe fruits in sight. I could spend half an hour foraging for wild plants. Most of what you find are sour apples, juicy plums, and a few clumps of sorrel. Okay. How much time do I have? 4 hours. Two. Well, let's go forage here, and then we'll go stay at Creek or Foggy's. Takes 45 minutes. So I have an hour and a half. Put even more effort into exploring the area, but you only find things that you can't use on the road. Honey, mushrooms, insects, acorns, eggs, or little critters, snakes, and lizards. You do, however, find an unusual spot in the far east, near a shallow pond. A small ravine of sorts, though instead of water, it hides torn clothes, broken tools, and remains of a camp. There are no bones around. Whoever had found their end in this place surely turned into an undead years or decades ago. There's a broken rope hanging from a tree stump. The other part of the plant is already at the bottom of the ravine. Maybe I'll find... oh gosh. I'm gonna get screwed. Maybe I'll find something of value in the bag or tent. I better get down there. You grab Haas's halter. Your mount observes the area nervously, not willing to graze on the sparse, dry grass. You pat its side. It won't take long, you say, knowing both that it doesn't understand you and that you can't be sure if the words are true. It lowers its head and starts to paw the ground. Not willing to repeat the mistake of the previous traveler, you tie your rope to a stone instead of any of the plants. You take only what's necessary and descend, leaning with your boots against the rock face. The sounds of wind and birds are muffled and echoed. You end up in a corridor of rocks. Approach the traveler's possessions. You find no blood, flesh, or bones, but the clues tell you all you need. Someone was betrayed by their own rope, now lying on the ground with a torn loop. They landed on their bag, in which you find a bunch of broken supply jars and scraps of linen, then tried to crawl away. You find nothing of value, not even dragon bones. Maybe that's why the dead used to own such unreliable equipment. You're ready to climb back, but once you turn around, you realize that you've overlooked something sticking out from the wall. A pickaxe, surrounded by dozens of cracks. Some of the smaller rocks have already crumbled up. I grab the tool. It gives way easily, more thanks to the rust than to your muscles. You throw it away, using your hands to pull away the shards of the wall, and gasp once you recognize the patina on their surface. You kneel down and take a better look at other rocks. At least a half of them bear a touch of the green copper, like a statue in the old temple. You come to your senses, pushing away the images of fortune and future idleness. A large group would have to set up a hamlet here to even inspect the vein, with workers, guards, wood, supplies, tools, all under the noses of the locals. Squabbles over ore can turn violent pretty fast. Interesting. Okay. Oh no. That might have been better. Why can't I make it to Foggy's? Well. Okay, so I guess that's not too bad. I just lost some vitality for it. Alright. Let's see. The air is humid and stuffy. The tables were just washed with a wet cloth. Foggy looks at you through the hole leading to the attic. She gets down, having only one arm doesn't seem to hinder her. She welcomes you with a smile. Well, let's go and sleep, I guess. Alright, we'll sleep in the attic, get that vitality back. Alright, I'd like to eat. Okay, so we've used the last of our meals from her. Time for me to go. Travel. Now, let's see if I can do anything at Creeks. Okay. Well, let's tell them about the eastern path first. I restored the brook ford that connects the eastern road with the heart of the forest. I know the place. I don't think we're going to see that many wagons going through there in the next few seasons, but it must have been quite a few hours of work for a single shell, and quite close to the beasts. You realize he's not as much addressing you as thinking out loud while reaching for the wooden case. His fingers play with the contents for a bit until he takes 2 dragon bones out of it. One for the labor, another one for the threat. You must say, not too bad for carrying rocks. I smile. True, true. We've started sending the foragers and hunters to the farther parts of the peninsula. The monsters are still there, but the fewer surprises that are ahead of us, the easier it is to adapt. What else do I need to know about the tree? The watchtower is clear, kind of. That's a relief. He reaches for the case so quickly that he misestimates the distance. It falls on the ground with a clatter like a fistful of dice, and instead of collecting everything right away, he picks up 2 of the dragon bones that are rolling toward him. I need to make another one anyway, he says to himself and pays you, asking about the place. You mentioned the bugs, the rotten barrels, the moisture. Once you describe the broken door, the man sighs. So we can't hide there for long. I'll need to build a new door myself, but I have no iron for a lock. He adjusts his furry cloak and starts to think out loud. It was quite an expensive bomb, you know, the one for the bugs. I gave him a meaningful look. I'm sorry to say that, but you've wasted your time. His voice is hesitant. Without the entrance, many awful creatures may hide there now, insect empresses included. This is all this message is worth for me. I reach for the dragon slowly. Believe it or not, my tribesfolk say the roads truly are getting safer. Beasts are learning this road is not just theirs anymore. I don't know what else I have to do for the tree. I have the whole thing locked down. I know why the tree is on the road. I don't know what else I need to do. I've helped to clear the plague from Old Pagos. It may not be a safe place, but it will survive. Elo's grin is soon followed by his raised voice. And you're serious? Everyone? He addresses other people working near the square. Tell the others, the plague is gone. We're safe. After his eyes return to you, he clears his throat and turns away again. Old Pagos is safe. You explain briefly what happened, and he spends a good few moments considering the old druid's part. I wouldn't expect someone from Howlers to help another soul in need, he says while his hand clenches the bottom part of his cloak. Not since they're ruled by a tyrant. It is not the first time this forest speaker has protected the peninsula from a grave threat. He smiles at you, and so did you, I guess. What do you know about the ruins of the village in the south? He freezes for a good moment and finally takes a deep breath, puts away his tools and looks you in the eyes. His fingers are moving slowly as if he's trying to warm them up before playing on a lute. Don't push me onto those dark ground, Stain. I've been stepping on them for years, but I still struggle, please. I don't know why everyone just will not tell me about it. Okay, well, we can't clean up there. I don't know what else. I guess let's check out... the bridge, maybe? I don't know what else is here. Maybe we missed something at the bridge. With no trees or crags blocking the sun, the road is bright and inviting. The simple bridge is centuries old, bitten by time. It makes you think of the dolmen you saw south of here. The torrent here is deep and fast, with plenty of fish. The boat is destroyed beyond repair, rotten, falling to pieces, with holes in the floor and on the sides, overgrown with fungi and moss. The thick shrubs lining the path are covered with thorns. Small birds are jumping from one twig to another, pecking at the brown berries. You think about picking some of the fruits, but you're not sure if they're edible. I look around for an hour or so, maybe I can find something of use. After what feels like an eternity of searching around the boat, the banks and the shrubs, you sit down on the bridge to take a break, then realize you haven't actually looked beneath it. You kneel on the grass and look into the darkness. Among cobwebs and bugs, you spot an old piece of fabric pinned under a rock. You pull it out and find a rotting, torn pouch that contains a single dragon bone. You make sure you haven't missed the other ones in the dirt, but if they ever existed, they have rolled down and sunk for good. I throw the pouch away and stand up. Haas peacefully chews the grass, enjoying the sun on its back, ready to take a nap. I wash myself on the river. Oh, I hurt myself. Cool. You undress, keeping your axe at hand, and check the water with your hand. It's as warm as it is clear. You step in, hearing your mount's fearful snort. You tell it to quench its thirst, but then a harsh bite reaches your calf. You look down, another wave of pain runs through your leg, and your blood flows downstream. In a panic, you climb back out, grabbing a clump of grass. A fish is still holding your thigh. You pull it and squeeze with anger. Its mouth is filled with thin, inch-long teeth. You need a bandage. Fuck that thing. I cast it into the bushes and make it suffocate. Haas peacefully chews the grass, enjoying the sun. That's me. Okay. Cool. Glad that just amounted to nothing. I guess maybe I need to uncover all of the forest first. Probably fine, right? Alright, let's go back into the forest. On top of a nearby hill, you spot a four-legged dragon chewing on the tree leaves. Completely ignores you, and as you observe its long neck, as thick as a trunk, you can't imagine a blade that could wound it. Well, let's see what going to the bandit's hideout does. You prepare yourself to face the gnolls, but no such creature shows up to face you. Maybe they found another spot to rob. At the end of the pond, you spot a moldy, closed satchel hanging from one of the branches high above the trail, most likely taken there by an ape or a bird. Like other trees in this part of the forest, this one is ridiculously wide, covered with dark, scaly bark. It would take time to climb up the slippery lichens. Oh boy. I don't want to break anything inside the bag. Climb it. Yeah, I just got dirty. Okay. In time. You gather the useful tools. Climbing up the trunk without wrapping your arms around it is difficult. After every 2 or 3 feet, you cut and tear away slices of bark, making new steps. It's easier after you reach the first branch strong enough to hold your weight. You secure yourself with the rope. Once you reach the bag with the satchel, you pull yourself toward it, breaking minor twigs. You pull the leather strap to raise the bag and unpin it. After a few long, tiring minutes, you get back on the ground. I scout the contents. The foul smell hits your nostrils like a hammer. You ignore the old fruits covered with maggots and eggs, as well as the moldy shirt. But you kick away the small pouch. You cut it open only to find 2 dragon bones. I grab the water skin and wash them. While someone watches you from one of the trees, whistling, it's the sound of the hooves that lures a few people out to the gate. The highwaymen nod politely to you, and even though their weapons are at hand, they keep their distance. I enter the hamlet. You're told to wait, since Glossie is wandering outside the hamlet with a few of her men. You hear a loud whistle, then another, and after a few minutes, the entire group is back. Their leader gestures for you to join her on our walk. right. About the spying you wanted me to do. I don't care. What can you tell me about the ruins of the Southern Road? You were there when Steep House has fallen, weren't you? She stops and turns around. When she places a hand on her side, the mill clinks. I saw it all right. Thias's threats, the torches and the bows of her people, the druids in clean robes with curses on their tongues. I helped the others add logs to our broken wall, but when the herds got in through the breach, all I could do was run, so I did. She closes her eyes, but her wounded hand instantly moves to the scabbard of her blade, just in case. I still remember 2 young men, no, boys, fighting each other by the flames of my house, and a head hitting a tree. My husband screaming from pain in our bed, poisoned by the well, not knowing he would never fall asleep nor wake up, and a werebear grasping my friend, then tearing Rochelle in half. I and a few others carry it all. Her absent eyes glance at one of her guards, a man with a face eaten by fire, and will never forget. I stare at her. So Howler's Devil's behind all this? The tribes have hidden this little secret of ours quite well, I see. She glances at you with a sad smirk. Like you said, 10 years ago she offered every settlement to enter a covenant with her people. Taxes for her guards. We at Steep Hill refused, and she decided to start a raid, like a bandit. Her voice swings from sadness to a bitter amusement. We surrendered, we did, but she wanted bloodshed, and she got it. Her people torched our houses, cut the forest garden, ended lives. We tried to recover. Many said we should bow to her if it meant we could keep our home, but nature is merciless. The beasts attacked us soon after. She falls quiet and puts her left boot on a nearby log, adjusting its buckles. And that's it. Steep House was no more, killed by 2 different monsters. But why were the people of Howlers willing to go so far? They would say we were asking for it. I spent not even 15 years in Steep House, but I saw my share of quarrels between the 2 villages. Did you know they were both the same tribe? It's true, she emphasizes, even though her eyes are focused on the roaming rooks. She must have told the story many times already. Howlers started a fishing hamlet at the stream bank, and it sprouted into a new village. In a few generations, Steep House grew strong enough to prosper without Howler's help, and decided to cut ties. We pretty much paid taxes, you see, and got little in return, chiefly since we were placed closer to the hill pass, and many traders turned around soon after they entered our gates. My neighbors had riches, all right, good food, and pretty homes. She pauses, and you're not sure if these words make her at all proud, but respected their land, woods, and stream. The only greed we faced was that brought to us with violence. Her furious eyes look away, and she strides forward. Well, I mean, that puts things in a different light. I'm glad I didn't help Howler's Dell with that seed. I considered telling her about the secret trapdoor from the dolmen. I tell her everything, her trust is worth it, because I can give him another hideout. Their leader doesn't interrupt you, nor slows down her pace. After you're done, she says without a hint of emotion, but you notice the unnatural pause. Of course. She tries to maintain her composure. But if you're trying to impress me, you need to try harder. You look at the surprised glances of the others and try to hide your smile. You got them. Okay. See, she wants me to go spy on White Marshes, but she won't actually give me any information about White Marshes. Seems counterproductive. Okay. Having discovered the truth, you could force the people of Howlersdale to confront their past, though they may not take kindly to your threats and requests. The more you'll learn about their deeds and conflicts, the more tools you'll have to use against them. If they will listen to me at all. Interesting. West to the gate. Counterproductive. There's just checks and balances. It was kind of cut and dry when I first started. Obviously, like, you know, no one knows who you are, but a lot of it is opening up, and now, like, difficult choices have to be made, you do one thing and it pisses off another. Hey, how's it going? You see a strange creature in the distance, not smaller than a bear, with a troll-like posture and a dense red fur. It's turned away from you, crouching near a fresh deer carcass, tearing away the flesh and stuffing its mouth with it. Just in case, you try to ride around it, but you get lost again, avoiding the trap-like corridors of fallen trees. At one point, you reach a bright glade with sparse brushes and a colorful meadow. Some of the plants bear berries that shouldn't be trusted, but you also find a couple of tasty-looking green and yellow apples, plums, and old strawberries. You spot no larger creatures, just a few monkeys, rats, and birds, terrified of your presence, trying to both keep their distance and fill their stomachs. Tether Haas to... I don't like that it's a random. Tether Haas to a smaller tree and spend some time picking fruits. You walk in the sunlight, putting the harder in the bottom of the bag. The orchard is peaceful, but from time to time the distant roars make you flinch. The memory of a red beast tearing its prey to pieces returns to you with every loud rustle. Ooh. I feel like I'm pushing it. That was easy. I can look for some more food. You find a couple of hazels at the edge of the orchard. You startle the nearby animals and grab a bunch of nuts and the occasional fruit, shoving them into a bag. So far, so good. Spending time, too. I grab another sack. No! No. Yeah, can't push it. That's lame. I was hoping there'd actually be a fight, and then just you went away. You approach the monkey's territory. The dwellers are still loud, throwing 6 chestnuts and acorns at you. At least there are no feces. I need to endure it. I ride forward. You shield yourself with your cloak, but one of the chestnuts hits your pinky pretty badly. Your palfrey snorts with frustration, at least once whining in pain, though even then it stays in control. A few beasts get in front of you, slowing you down and mocking you with their screams, but they aren't goblins. They keep running back, limiting themselves to threats. Some of the monkeys follow you, swinging between the trees, shouting at you and trying to hit you with a stick. Once I get away from them, I examine the house and make sure it's safe. Am I going to have enough time? The air in these bright, arid hills is much drier than in the woods. Down below, among the humble meadows, you spot a stone plateau, on top of which a group of bipedal creatures is feasting on a large carcass. From what you can see, only a few of them would reach your knees, but as the pack notices your gaze, it starts to regroup. Tether Haas to a tree. I can handle a few bites from their tiny jaws. That sounds like a bad idea, too. You grab your axe and head toward the crag slowly. Climbing to the top is simple enough. You step forward and take a few swings, raising your voice in your taunts. The beasts keep jumping left and right, stretching out their shells, jumping up and warning you with their shrieks. They are quick, nimble, and as loud as a bird. Finally, the largest kobold, whose head is covered with red scales, runs to the rock face and makes an impressive jump onto the higher ledge. The others follow it, leaving you with a few more discontented screeches. You know, it's the first time their prey gets stolen. Examine the carcass. It's an ibex, with brown, elegant fur. Its black horns were broken in half. There's a red knot attached to one of its front ankles, a sign of ownership. I leave it to the scavengers. Got an achievement for it. I bring good news from old Pagos. The plague is no more. What? He leans back. Say again? When you repeat, he tilts his head back and puts hands on his waist, bursting in laughter, though his voice is still shaking. Tell me all. He has little patience, constantly throwing more questions at you about the druid, his plan, your gifts for the magic tree. He's far from happy when he hears about the prolonged seclusion. I guess it's fair. I'll stay here for some more time. I don't want to mess stuff up. Like, I'm not as dumb as a bird. He smiles again. Thank you, Warden. Your soul carries duty like no other. Any idea who could be the owner of an ibex marked with a red knot? He flinches and narrows his eyes. A red knot? We use those in my home. Like, not my, but old Pagos. Why are you afraid of Glossia? Warden, I can't talk about her. His shoulders slump, making him look like a wounded troll. I've got to look after the gate for her, or she'll hurt someone important to me. If she learns I'm telling stories about her, I'm dead too. I'd like you to open the gate. Are you sure? Oh no. Oh, I'm okay, I guess I'm already on the other side of it. Alright. How are we doing on 3 hours? Nice little pouch. We got time, hour 45. Yeah. Right? Yeah. We'll go to the rock slide. So I have that chisel. See, but I don't know why I have the chisel if it doesn't do anything. Simple tool for cutting or splitting hard surfaces, especially essential for people who carve in wood, rocks, bone, chitin, and metal. It channels the strength of a mallet, club, or stone in a specific spot, allowing the sculptor to achieve a high level of precision. This specific chisel is made of steel with marks of being stricken with other tools thousands of times. As far as you can tell, it's a bit too heavy and narrow to be used on wood, which should work well with all sorts of stone. It bears no decoration. Seeing it in an artisan's workshop, you wouldn't pay it any attention. According to the soul who gave it to you, it was filled with magic decades ago and makes its owner's hands confident, so powerful they can carve in granite, so precise they can write in glass. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So we just go to Hellersdale, call it a night. Yeah, of course they keep my distance, or keep their distance. They hate me anyway. Alright, I'm gonna work in peace. I need to decide what to do with what I've learned about Steep House. You're standing in the middle of the islet, taking a good look at the village. The locals follow their daily routines. Children are playing tag. The trees are turning golden brown. You listen to the humming creek and a singing old woman. Yet, you can see what's beneath all that, a home to raiders who led dozens of humans to their death. You decide to act. You'll have only one shot at this. Starting a storm without the firm support of the locals would paint you as a threat. If Thais was able to keep her power despite her deeds, she surely has strong support, and she may not yield to you even if openly confronted. Oh, yeah, well, I haven't really... Okay. I'm not ready to choose. We're just gonna sleep. You are in the labyrinth of alleys in Steep House, which shifts after every step. You wander by the blooming gardens, burning houses, laughing newlyweds, cut off limbs, fresh hair pies, chewed bones, carts loaded with barrels and fallen trees. You're sitting at a table in front of the Ape Ale Inn, surrounded by laughing skeletons. Thais, naked and covered in blood and ashes, holds your hand, forcing you to stuff your mouth with raw meat from a bottomless bowl. Every bite, tasting like the metal of an old key, burns your mouth, but you can't scream. The unyielding grasp brings pain and delight in equal measure, and you wouldn't dare to try to escape it. The smoke coming from your roasting flesh starts to fill your eyes, but they have no tears to spare. You wake up and reach for a water skin so you can rinse the ash from your hand. It takes you a few heartbeats before you realize where you are. See, like... I think the people didn't necessarily understand. I think there's definitely some people that live here that probably did, but besides Thais. I've only seen one side of the story. I'm sure the people of Howlers felt they were justified and things just got out of control. Talk to the innkeeper, actually. Eric's also approaches the counter, welcoming me with a wide smile. Did someone contact you about work for me? Very much so. Ask for Timo. She's usually at the creek just outside the southern wall doing laundry. She wants to find herself a husband. There's not much in it for you unless you'll be here for the marriage rites, but it will make her happier. Thanks. Okay, leave the square. Well, we could... Let's just go see Timo. Before you reach the gate, you find 3 washwomen who are walking down the path, chatting loudly. The wet hair on their arms and legs shines, contrasting the mud on their feet. Some of them wear soaked shirts, all have their heads wrapped in kerchiefs. You know from the city how hard and sometimes dangerous their job can get. You glance over their laundry baskets filled with clothes and buckets of urine. Once they notice you, one of them puts her things next to a fence and tells the others to go ahead without her. Her companions giggle, but loyally leave the 2 of you alone. I was so hoping to speak with a traveler. She starts and looks away. I scrolled. Oh no. Whenever she speaks, she's both very direct and distracted, struggling to explain her plans. After a brief conversation, you try to sum it all up. So you seek a man who would agree to take part in the marriage rites of your druids. She nods energetically, but then freezes. She's tanned from work, but her face is young and smooth, and since her hair is hidden, her bright hazel eyes keep drawing your attention. Not just any man, she interrupts you angrily. Someone who stays in the sun and works hard. For us and our kids. You ask if she has any children already, and after another minute of her awkward explanations, you take a guess that she doesn't. You ask if it would make a difference for her to move to a different village. We live good lives here, safe and plentiful. I'd rather stay, but I could leave with a safe convoy. See you soon? Okay. Go to the Druidess. You enter the building site, which has changed quite a bit since the last day of your visit. Elpis is standing in the middle of the yard, surrounded by her companions, yet she needs a few breaths to collect her thoughts. We are glad to see you, Roadwarden. Her eyes make you think of a sky just after heavy rain. The forest speaker had put us into shame, and we've discussed his words and deeds. Her voice is slow, but you catch its hesitation. We're grateful that the village of Old Pagus will share the next summer with us. The lack of the seed will be a burden, but it will bring us to brighter days. Concerning what I did for Alpagos, don't you think I'm worthy of your healing abilities? She smiles gently. Aye, you deserve the help of spirits. She leans her staff forward, pointing at you with its top. But it'll only happen when I see you barely standing. To stay strong, one should eat, sleep, and rest. Farewell. Okay, well. Yeah, I don't know who I would even, talk to help me here. Taylor knows more. I can't do anything there. How much? 10 days. I don't have enough time to screw around either. Okay. Let's... How many plants do I have? That's enough. Alright. I need this warlock to open the path to White Marshes. These wild fruits and leaves are not much, but I can give you a lot of them. He purses his lips, his toes flinching nervously. You think I cannot find those by myself? Fine, go ahead, he mutters with resignation, and you throw in enough fruits and leaves to fill up his basket. He snaps his fingers. Done. Okay. Now we can go through to the town. Seems weird that he's a whole hour away from them, though. On your way to the village, you see a girl, no older than 15, walking through the tall purple grasses, along with a few other youngsters. After she notices your arrival, she runs toward the road, waving to draw your attention. I stop. Can I help you? It takes her a few more moments to reach you. Her clothes are baggy, appropriately so for her age, but she's also rather scraggy for a laborer. She carries a slingshot and a simple backpack made of creepers and twigs, filled with green leaves, wild fruits, and a dead squirrel lying on the surface. After your question, she gives you a curious glance. Roadwarden, parents told me. Not sure which part of it is a question, you nod in agreement. But what is it that one does, really? Hunt bounties? I mostly patrol the roads and travel between villages. Some road wardens seek bounties, yes, but I do all sorts of things, whatever's needed. Oh, you're an adventurer, then. She makes an odd, displeased grimace and then sneezes and smiles at you. Not really. Adventurers are paid to do odd jobs, but often don't follow the city laws nor the local ones, unlike road wardens. Yep, makes sense, she nods, but looks around with a frown. So you're a mercenary of sorts. They do follow laws, if the pay's right. Even less so. Mercenaries follow the rules of their employers, but they get hired only as fighters, either as guards or one-time soldiers. They mostly learn how to fight other humans. But aren't you a soldier? She waves toward her companions, showing them not to worry about her. You work for the city, right? I do, but I work only with my mount and answer only to the chieftain. I'm a lieutenant, and I'm required to handle many tasks of my own. Securing shelters, for example, or staying alive in the wilderness. I don't occupy any specific spot, and I'm not allowed to collect taxes. This seems weird that it's leading me on this, but sure. Her tone is confident when she pats her slingshot. Hear this, then. You're part pathfinder, part adventurer. The city pays you to cross the woods by yourself, and you do odd jobs for your own sake. Sure, you figured it out. I did! She meets your eyes proudly. I guess there's a tiny reason to call such a soul a road warden. Safe travels. She waves to you and runs back to the rest of her group. Seems odd, but okay. Right through the gate. The group that you encountered at the old forest garden is close to the gate. During their training, they use a meatless undead order to dodge their attacks. I trust the guards. People from the other tribes are looking for spouses. The taller gatekeeper gives you a long look. We need no matchmaker here. Our youths work to do. Only then they're free to go wherever they want. After you ask if the village is open to invite new dwellers, he snorts. You think they're going to move to the village of the dead? Good joke. I should take a stroll then learn more about this place so I can report back to Glacia. You leave Haas at the well and head between the turf houses, but you then hear the heavy steps of one of the armored guards. What's this? He places a hand on your shoulder and turns you around. Getting homely? What's the problem? Your nose, he scoffs. Don't loaf around, stranger. He harshly pulls you toward the gate. Stick to your beast. You hear a few onlookers wonder aloud about what you were looking for. Should speak with Balins. He welcomes you with hungry eyes. Any news, Warden? I know what's in the letter. He puts a hand on his forehead. You can't tell if it's a sign of relief or tension. I repeat to him his husband's words. At first he freezes, but then gives a hateful look towards Orientis' hut. He knew what this piece of shit did, he growls. He always asks to be heard, only to spread lies. Why do I need to find a stranger to hear the truth for once in my life? His eyes get gentler once he looks at you, but you notice the tears in his eyes. His shaking hands offer you the reward. Now, about the tablet. Here you go. I don't want it. He steps away. You know what? Take this. He pulls out a bone stylus that perfectly matches the colors of the tablet. Together, they will buy you a few meals at a trader's stall. Good luck, Warden. Farewell. You notice that all the flies land either on the locals or on your palfrey. They avoid the awoken shells without exception. You notice a skinny woman with a blue headscarf. She stares at your mount like a wolf at an elk. I approach the woman who observes Haas. She moves away, but meets your eyes and makes a smile-like grimace, then leads you behind the empty animal pen, away from the guard's ears. Her gray hair, mostly covered, is deceiving. She's no older than 30, yet her face is marked by insect bites and pustule scars. She takes confident steps, even though she wears muddy foot wraps, without boots, and a worn, simple skirt. She squeezes the front of her scarf on her chest, shaping it into something like a short, hooded cloak. A warden, I heard. She answers your nod by pursing her lips. I need you to ride somewhere for me. Tell me. Far away from here, at the eastern road, there's an old bridge made of a single rock. She doesn't look away for even a single heartbeat. Her gaunt face is pale, and makes her large gray eyes look as if someone took their color away. Beneath it, there's a rock, and beneath the rock, a purse with my savings. Bring it to me. Before you mention your reward, she starts to speak faster, giving the men at the gate a nervous glance. Half of what you'll find is yours. Bring me the rest. How much should there be? 20 bones, if that old fool didn't try to scam me. She takes a deep breath. Half if it's more than worth the effort. Seeing the curious look at the guards, she shakes her head and leaves you yourself as she passes by a flesh-bearing undead. I should tell the woman about her pouch. She's just at the edge of the yard, keenly observing you, and as you approach her, she once again leads you further away from the gate, this time behind a turf house. She reaches out to you with an open palm and speaks quietly. May the right bless you, stranger. The pouch was torn and rotten. Here, the only dragon bone I found. She looks at the sky, then to the ground. For 2 heartbeats, she can't stop herself from revealing the despair in her eyes. But she then adjusts her headscarf, takes a deep breath, and moves her shoulders. I have not even a fistful of berries to thank you, stranger. But I'll tell the rest of the village you're trustworthy messenger if anyone asks. Hardly anyone does around here. Okay. She hobbles away, splashing mud with every step. I return to my bundles. Alright, I go to Helvius. I've helped to purge the plague in Old Pagos. Maybe with time things will return to normal. You did? He frowns. And how? I asked. Not even Orantius can help them. You start your long tale, but the mayor stops paying attention after just a few minutes, pressing the cold, blunt side of his axe to his cheek. So some dangerous pagan spells. Knowing the curses of the druids, the village may not last till spring, or maybe Thais is going to collect the debt now. When he mentions pagans, you can't stop yourself from peeking at the loud, undead shells. Oh boy. Now that's quite a conundrum. I think I might save and come back to this tomorrow. Because on the one hand, I could tell him where Glossia is. I don't know if they do anything. But that might make him trust me enough so I can go see Orantius and talk to him, and then if I go see Orantius, maybe that will give me enough information to help Glossia deal with them. I'm not really sure. It could really just fall apart. But anyway, I am going to stop there, and then yeah, I'll try to give it some thought and hopefully come to a conclusion. I don't know. I might try it and see what happens when you tell about Glossia. But yeah, thanks for showing up. I know it's only for a few minutes, but yeah, I've actually I know I only have 10 days left, but I've actually accomplished, I think, quite a few things. I know there's more to it, but yeah, I think we'll go from there. I appreciate you guys hanging out, and we will see you tomorrow at 5 Central.